Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shuck. I make videos for NBA. I also do a bunch of other content in my Discord. All these videos that do get posted on this subreddit right here. It's called DF Sports right here. You can find my post. My username is Shuck on Reddit. I make updates with all the news that comes out through the day. You can talk strategy here. You can ask me questions about the slate, questions on pivots, and stuff like that. It's a really great place to be. Definitely check it out if that's something you're interested in. If you have questions, and then if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can do so on Twitter at ToryLangley1992 or ShookGo. That's my Twitter handle. So, if Discord's if Discord's something you're interested in, I'll have a link to that down below where I have in-depth content going over each slate. Player pools for cash and GPPs, cores for cash and GPPs, a whole bunch of other stuff. I do esports content, CSGO, Call of Duty. I give out some props for NBA. It's not guaranteed I'll be doing props, but I have been of late. And yeah, just a whole bunch of other stuff. We play every single sport, so that'll be down below. So I had a good day. I banked the $4.20 max. Unfortunately, it was one of my lineups that was duped 20 times, but I'll gladly take it. Some of my biggest takes on this slate were Bruce Brown, and Bruce Brown didn't do well, but I feel very, very happy about my analysis on Bruce Brown. I told everyone in Discord Bruce Brown was my favorite tournament player on the slate because there were a lot of ways for him to gain minutes, right? Aaron Gordon foul trouble, MPJ getting benched, KCP getting benched from playing like shit, and all of that happened besides Aaron Gordon foul trouble, and he got the minutes. He just didn't produce, right? And I was very, very. I had more Jimmy Butler than Jamal Murray. So if all my Butler lineups, the ones down here, had Jamal Murray, I would have had an even bigger day. But definitely can't complain about taking first in a large field tournament. Unfortunately, it was one of my lineups that was duped. But the core that I had for this showdown was Jokic, Bam, and Kevin Love. So pretty good core overall. All right, let's go over the slate. First, let's take a look at the rotation. So, it's a game 3. Miami's down 1-2. I think you're going to see more minutes for Butler. I think you're going to... Oh, we already have Tyler Herro ruled out. You're going to see more minutes for Butler. I expect him to play 42, 43, 44, 45 minutes in this game. You're going to see more minutes for Bam Adebayo. Probably going to see him play, like I said, 42, 43, 44, 45 minutes in this game. Have to. It's the finals. They're down 1-2. Must win. You're going to see more minutes for those two guys. As far as everyone else, you know what they're going to do. If Max Strus, Duncan Robinson both aren't playing well, they're going to close with Kyle Lowry. They're going to close with Gabe Vincent. If one of them is playing well, maybe they'll close with Strus. Maybe they'll close with Duncan. If we saw Caleb close. Also, another thing that I talked about in my Discord was being overweight on Caleb Martin and being like pivoting off Caleb Martin from Michael Porter Jr. and that worked out huge. I actually had some Caleb Martin. I was over the field on Caleb Martin. I don't think he got into any of my good lineups though. But I had like 90% Aaron Gordon. So I got more Aaron Gordon, obviously. I can't find my Caleb lineups, but that was another thing that worked out. And then for Denver, I expect, about the same. Besides, like, we could see Braun lose some minutes. Obviously, we could see Michael Porter Jr. not get benched. Bruce Brown minutes will depend on how Michael Porter Jr. is playing. Christian Braun's minutes will also depend on how Michael Porter Jr. is playing. Braun will obviously be in the rotation. He'll probably play about 10 minutes regardless, but could play more depending on how Michael Porter Jr. and KCP are playing. So that's a situation that will change those three guys. Braun, KCP, Michael Porter Jr. Minutes will always depend with those three, and then we already went over Miami. So yeah, good day yesterday. Let's keep going here. So Denver at Miami. let's go over Denver. So you guys know my analysis on Jokic. I'm not going to fade Jokic. He's the best play on the slate, even at $15,600. Just the floor plus ceiling is absolutely absurd. The raw points do matter in Showdown. I will play Jokic. I will put him in my lineup. I had him in 100% of lineups last slate. I had him in 100% of lineups the slate before. I'll probably have him in 100% of lineups this slate. I'll put him in my lineup. I'll figure out the rest later. He looks phenomenal. There's no analysis here. Play Jokic, in my opinion. Maybe you could fade in large field if you're doing a ton of lineups, but I'm going to have him in all my lineups, and I'm probably going to build 20 lineups. So I absolutely love Jokic. Jamal Murray, Jimmy Butler. This is going to be the decision point. Jimmy Butler's only been playing about 40 minutes in the finals. If you go back to like the end of that Boston series, he played the whole game. So if you're going to project these guys, I think you have to project them for more minutes. So, in my mind, like instead of projecting him for like 40, maybe project him for like 41, right? But I think he plays 43, 44 minutes here. And the decision point, Jamal Murray's already playing basically the whole game. Played 45 minutes last game. So might come down to ownership for me. I think you definitely do have to give a boost to Butler because I think they do play more than they have been. So it's going to come down to ownership. I think both of them are two very, very good plays. I still think I give the edge to Butler. I think Murray might be more popular as well. So if he is, I still give the edge to Butler. But I think both are very, very strong. And then we have Michael Porter Jr. at $7,000, and I'm going to like him a ton for tournaments, and let me explain why. Like, I know he's caused people incredible amounts of pain the last two slates. He's caused me incredible amounts of pain the last two slates, but everyone is going to look that he's got benched the last two games. He shot 2 of 8, 1 of 7. He's played terribly on defense. He's gotten benched. Price came down. He is going to go under-owned in my opinion, and if he plays well and he doesn't get benched, we know the ceiling with MPJ. He legit has 40 fantasy point upside at 7K on a showdown slate, and he's going to be under-owned. So I'm probably going to be in so much pain because I'm probably going to go right back to him. I think he is a great tournament play on the slate, but just know if you do play him, most of the time you're probably going to be in pain. But I really like Michael Porter Jr. for tournaments. I mean, Aaron Gordon is just a really, really good play as well. You don't have to worry about Aaron Gordon getting benched because they need him out there for defense. His role is really good. So Aaron Gordon is just a very solid play in the mid-range that has basically no risk. The only risk that you have worried with him is he just has a basement game, but super, super, super safe. So Aaron Gordon, a very strong play at that price. KCP 5.2. It's the same thing I said about Michael Porter Jr. I feel like he's going to go lower owned than he should be. He shot the ball very, very poorly. More often than not, he will close. They need his perimeter defense out there, and he also does have a ceiling when he's hitting his shots. Now, I think Michael Porter Jr. is far and away the better tournament play, but I think KCP another pretty strong tournament play for me. And then we have Bruce Brown at 5K. And like I said in my Discord, I think there are a lot of ways for him to gain minutes. Aaron Gordon foul trouble, Michael Porter Jr. getting benched, KCP playing really bad. There are a ton of ways for him to gain minutes and get more playing time. Even if those scenarios don't happen, he's still probably going to play around 20 minutes, and he's still pretty cheap at 5K. So I think Bruce Brown is another pretty solid play that could get extended. Even if he's just playing well, could get extended. So it's gonna be an ownership thing for me here. If he is going to be extremely popular, I think he makes for a good fade just because there are a range of outcomes with his minutes. If he is going to be low owned like he was last slate and I jammed him, then I'm gonna like him quite a bit for tournaments once again. And then we have Braun, who I think is going to be one of the more popular value plays on the site. All I have to say is just be careful here. He shot 100% from the field. He's gotten 3 steals, 1 steals, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Usually Christian Braun is a terrible point per minute guy. Now, I think he's definitely played well enough that he'll probably play around 10 minutes regardless and is a solid value play. I just have a feeling he's going to go a bit over him, but I think he's a solid value play. But just pump the brakes on this usage, this fantasy output. Definitely pump the brakes there. Then we have Jeff Green, who will probably play around 10 to 15 minutes. He's fine. Okay for sour relief. Just no true analysis there. On to Miami. So we already went over Butler. We already went over Murray. He's great play. I think Bam Adebayo just looks phenomenal once again. I obviously prefer Bam to Butler. Point per dollar, not straight up. Bam Adebayo has just been phenomenal. And it's absolutely wild that no one was playing him in the beginning of the series because people didn't realize that Boston was just a terrible matchup, and actually Denver is a much, much better spot for him against Jokic. So, like I said about Butler, I expect him to play huge minutes here. I expect him to play 42, 43, maybe even the 45 plus. Usually that's been great. He's been rebounding very well. He's a good defender, can get those blocks, steals. I think he looks amazing. So I really like Bam. Caleb Martin, as long as he keeps coming off the bench, is just strictly a tournament play for me. Now, what you can do is I expect Aaron Gordon to be really, really popular on the slate. You could just go to Caleb Martin to be different over Aaron Gordon. It's definitely going to fail 99% of the time, but could work out. We have Gabe Vincent at 6K. I think he's fine. Should play over 30 minutes. He's probably going to close most of the time. Got into early foul trouble here. Had a really, really bad game. Usually, he's not going to shoot that bad. It'll play over 30 minutes. Give you a few assists. I'm just kind of indifferent on him. He's been popular every slate. I've been going underweight every slate and getting punished. I finally got rewarded with the bad game. So, yeah, I think Gabe's solid. Then we have Kyle Lowry at 4.6, who I think is another pretty good value play. Reason being, kind of same thing like I said about Bruce Brown, right? He's cheap at 4.6. He's probably going to play over 20 minutes regardless. There are ways for him to gain minutes with like Strus, Duncan playing bad, etc. So Kyle Lowry, another guy I'm pretty high on just because he can play a lot more and he's already going to play over 20 minutes and he's cheap. Max Strus at 4.4 I think is a good tournament play. It's always going to be like an ownership thing for me with Strus. If he's going to be low owned, then I always really like Strus. If he's going to be popular, then I kind of want to get away from him because there's a ton of volatility there with him. So if you have projections, ownership projections, I would make your decision on Strus based on that. Same thing with Duncan Robinson, and then assuming Kevin Love does continue to start, him, Braun, two of the best value plays in the slate, probably plays around 15 minutes, good point per minute guy. So yeah, Kevin Love, very good value. Highsmith out of the rotation, hard to go there. I'm not going to play Cody Zeller. I'm just not going to do it. I think Bam basically plays the entire game here, which leaves basically no minutes for Cody Zeller. So I'm just not going to play Zeller. But yes, he is viable. All right, let's go over who I'd rather play over who. I'd rather play Jokic over everyone. I'd rather play Butler over Murray. I'd rather play Bam over everyone in this range. I'd rather play MPJ. For tournaments, I'd rather play MPJ over Gordon. I think Gordon is the safer play, obviously, but if MPJ is going to be much lower owned, I'd just rather go to MPJ because the ceiling is there. I'd rather play Gordon over Martin. I'd rather play Vincent over KCP. I'd rather play I'd rather play Bruce over KCP. I'd rather play Bruce over Lowry. I think it's very, very close. I'd rather play Lowry over Strus. I'd rather play Strus over Duncan. I'd rather play Love over Braun. I'd rather play Braun over Green. And I'd rather play anyone over Zeller. So I hope this video helped all of you out, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.